Alright. You want backseat game? I'll let you backseat game. I get this off and just watch the Poliwrath. The scary thing is that they could counter me down to a Sludge Bomb. Oh, no, definitely not. Oh my gosh, that does so much damage. Wow. Yo, Machamp is actually pretty busted here. I didn't realize that close combat did that much damage to the Toxicroak. Hey everyone. If you played a previous iteration of Fighting Cup, I believe 2 seasons ago, it was probably not a fun meta at all. The top tier Pokemon were very inaccessible, but they decided to ban those Pokemon, being Buzzwole, Como-O, Hakamo, and I believe Sneasler. And I honestly was very skeptical about Fighting Cup Remix this time around because the meta looked super small and Toxicroak seemed to reign supreme over everything else by quite a large margin. However, I gave it an honest try and I gotta say, this is actually a really good meta. Pretty much all the top meta Pokemon have a lot of play into each other. So losing lead, losing counter swap, losing a backhand matchup does not necessarily mean you lose the game. You have win conditions throughout the entire battle, unless you're using something really bad like a Combustican. Is the meta very small? Yes. So if for you, small metas make it less fun, boring, etc., then you might not like the meta. But for me, I think a healthy meta is one where Pokemon have a lot of play into each other with proper energy management, shield usage, reading backlines. The battler that plays better than their opponent will almost always win. That's always a really good thing because even for your losses, you can always pinpoint why you have lost a match rather than because you had bad alignment or a bad lead or a bad counter swap. On any given day in this cup, I've been hovering around 80 to over 85% win rates, and I'm going to show you all a string of 4 sets I did where I went 85% win rate. These are all the battles, so I didn't do any editing and cut out any of the battles from that day. The team I decided to run is a Toxicroak with a Shadow Poliwrath and a Shadow Machamp. Shadow Poliwrath is going to sim a lot better on PvPoke, so I would recommend that version if you have one, but if not, non-Shadow should be fine. Non-Shadow Machamp actually is simming much better on PvPoke. However, I have a really solid ranked Shadow Machamp, in fact a rank 1, so I decided to use that one. I am also using a rank 1 Toxicroak in the lead, and I know a lot of people will think this is a bad idea with how many Toxicroaks there are, but I'm telling you right now, winning CMP is not as important as you think, as long as you know how to play out your matchups, and my very high win rate would support that. I'm going to show you all how to play out these matchups in such a condensed meta where even without winning CMP, you have a lot of play. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. You're going to see a lot of Toxicroak leads, and these are all my battles 1 through 20 in order, so there's no specific order to necessarily the leads. But as you can see here, a lot of Toxicroaks actually don't throw a Mud Bomb expecting maybe someone to catch or maybe thinking they're going to lose CMP themselves. So what I typically like to do is throw right away. If we CMP, I probably usually lose it, but in this situation, my opponent did not throw. A really great catch by them on their Poliwrath to catch the Ice Punch, but I was able to land a Dynamic Punch, and it looks like they have Scald, maybe Scald and Dynamic Punch, or Scald and Ice Punch. I personally like the Dynamic Punch a lot just because of these matchup against various it just hits pretty hard even when resisted, and that's why I'm throwing right there. And now I am coming in and we are going to get hit by Mud Bomb here, so not ideal, but I am going to try to counter down. I believe I should be able to counter down and survive this Mud Bomb, and then we unfortunately lose to that Heracross. Okay, so we lost the first matchup. I had some misplays there. I think shielding my Poliwrath was probably not ideal. But that is one of our few losses. All right, so I forgot which ones I lost. So I was playing it out. I was like, I don't think I win this one. I could be wrong. But we're going to keep moving forward. It's going to be a Hitmonchan, a little bit less common, and then Throh. Throh is not that great. Zen Headbutt, even though it's double super effective against Toxicroak, is not the best move, and it doesn't do great when it's single super effective as well. So I'm going to just let these body slams go as well. Body slam is not very threatening. I'm going to go for a hard must shot down. Energy on Poliwrath is very, very strong. So I am going to charge up a lot of energy off of that throw. And then here comes the Machamp. I'm going to go throw that Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch does so much damage. And then now we're going to go for the Sludge Bomb to take it out. really understanding how to use your shields and how to maneuver around is huge, right? So obviously that first matchup, I didn't play so great. You know, I spent 2 main shields on that Poliwrath. In fact, 2 of them. All right, again, a lot of the opponents are not throwing right when they have the Mud Bomb, so you can swap out. And I typically shield this because Sludge Bomb will do quite a bit, and a lot of them typically do. Sometimes they do throw the Mud Bomb for baits, but now they come in with the Machamp. And this is why I like Niantic. It hits super hard. And now that I already have energy here, I think spamming the shield here makes a little bit more sense than before. Because I could pretty much put the Toxicroak quite low or get off another move. I get off another move, which is nice. It is going to be the Ice Punch against the Throw. I'm going to come straight in with the Machamp here. The main thing is you can tank a Body Slam, so it's quite nice. Closing out with Machamp is very nice. Keep in mind in the movesets here, Close Combat hits a lot of things really hard, even Toxicroak. And as you can see, these Sand Headbutts are not that threatening. And then Dynamic Punch again, like I mentioned, for Poliwrath, just for the mirror matchup and just a hard-hitting fighting move. It's going to hit a lot harder than Scald is, especially when neutral. Alright, I'm going to bait there, and then Hisuian Sneasel is not super common, but you might see it from time to time. And I'm just going to tank a Close Combat here. Alright, so interesting plays I'm making here. I do let it go. These are some of my earlier battles too, so I think I learned from some of my mistakes. I don't know if I make the same plays these days as I did early on, but my opponent is going to come in with a Toxicroak here, and they shield. So now they are down shields. I'm going to shield the Mud Bomb here, and then just try to get a lot of energy here. And this Cross Chop does not knock out, but I should be able to counter down, which is quite nice, and now have quite a bit of energy. And I'm going to throw the Close Combat. Close Combat, again, even when resisted, hits very hard. So, able to take that out, even though I completely sacked my Shadow Poliwrath. But we are going into another match here. And Shadow Machamp is not too bad. This is actually a non-Shadow Machamp, actually. But we're just going to counter all the way down. It's a very positive matchup. Honestly, against most fighting types, Spear Fighters, you do very well. They do shield a Sludge Bomb. And I'm going to pivot over to my Shadow Poliwrath. Shadow Poliwrath is very strong. Safe swap in this meta. And it has potential to beat Toxicroak, so pretty good, and has pretty much potential to dent all the other fighting Pokemon. Again, pretty much everything in this top meta is very strong. And again, Throh, kind of underwhelming. A Shadow Poliwrath able to take it out, and then now I have my own Toxicroak, and we're in a very positive position. We have shields up. We just countered this down. I'm going to shield here. I don't really need to, but I'm just going to do it just so that they don't see my third Pokemon in case we match up again. But yeah, we finish off Toxicroak there. Again, a lot of Toxicroak mirrors. They all play out very differently, which is why I like this cup a lot. Every player plays things differently. And again, this player, again, is not throwing. We're going to definitely see one where I lose CMP. But so far, everyone's playing this lead matchup pretty similarly and throwing that Sludge Bomb, again, as predicted. And now I am going to throw the Sludge Bomb. Cranberry is off. And my opponent does not shield, and then now I get the Ice Punch. If I get him to shield the Ice Punch, that's huge. No, they just completely sack it. That puts me in a huge position, because let's remember, I still have a Mud Bomb loaded on my Toxicroak. Looking back on this, I probably should have thrown the Dynamic Punch. I don't know. I guess they still shield. But I should have built up to the Dynamic Punch at least. I'm going to let this Mud Bomb go, mainly because I have the Machamp, and the Surfetch does not have energy, so I want to be able to take this out. And we actually take it out before they even get to a move, which is perfect, and then I get to a Cross Chop just in time. So that's really nice, and we can finish off the Surfetch. Galarian Farfetch'd. This is kind of an interesting one. They have Fury Cutter, but the most important thing is they have Leaf Blade and Brave Bird. So again, everything has a lot of play. This has a lot of play too, because they bait me here, and they have Brave Bird that could one-shot me, or Leaf Blade from my Poliwrath. So I can't really swap out. And I'm going to swap to my Machamp to catch a Brave Bird. I don't know if this is the best idea or not, but I'm expecting there's a Toxicroak in the back. I don't want to go down shields against a Toxicroak. So as expected, there's a Toxicroak, right? A small meta, you can kind of make predictions on what's happening here. We do lose CMP, right? Finally, we do see that happening, but that's fine. I want to take this Toxicroak off the field as soon as possible. We still get a little bit of energy, which is huge. And then now I know I have a pretty good matchup in the back end, and it's going to be a Surfetch too. So Surfetch and Galarian Farfetch'd. I like the combo. I like the theme, but we do have quite a significant advantage with the Toxicroak there. All right, more Toxicroak lead mirrors. That's all good. And we finally do CMP, and we lose the CMP. This is how I play it out. I let it go, right? And it sounds wild, but you let the Mud Bomb go. You can do quite well with Shield Bench, and every one of the Toxicroaks in return will shield. Great catch by my opponent there, though. And something I learned afterward is to not throw when I have the move ready, because a lot of them will try to catch a move from the Poliwrath. I do the same thing when I run into Poliwrath leads, so I knew that I wasn't super surprised. But shield advantage Shadow Machamp with energy is very, very deadly. And so I'm going to shield this and see what happens here. I'm probably going to go get a little bit extra energy, I guess, and then throw. I don't want to take too much counter damage. And then they actually come in with a throw here. So let's see what happens here. And they actually decide to no shield, which actually turns out to be in my benefit, because now we can just counter down. I think if they just shield a throw, I'd be in a tough spot. So luckily I was able to get by with the win there. Probably one that I should have lost if my opponent played it a little differently. All right, so again, we lose Charge from Priority. That's fine. We let it go every single time. We now come in with the Poliwrath. Let's see how it plays out again. And this time around, I learned from my mistake. This is the very next match. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to make the same mistake again. And the very next opponent did the same thing. They tried to catch an Ice Punch. But instead, we hold on to our energy. Now the outcome is way different. We not only take out their Poliwrath, losing minimal damage for it. We take out their Toxicroak as well. And we're still up a shield. Like, if you think about how wild that is, we took out 2 of their Pokemon and still have a shield advantage. So that really goes to show how management and strategies here can make a difference. And we finish off the Heracross there. I don't know why. I thought that one probably should have been tied given the situation. I still have shields there. Maybe they're kind of wouldn't have knocked me out anyway. But my opponent here again goes straight for the close combat. You get so much value if you just shield and counter down, because again, you have to expect a potential Toxicroak in the back. So if they have a Toxicroak in the back, a loaded Toxicroak on your end is going to do very well. And here comes, I believe, the Toxicroak. I should have gone for the Dynamic Punch. It does more damage for neutral damage, and I can only get one move off, so that would have been the better play. But either way, we're up ahead by quite a bit. I'm going to throw a Sludge Bomb for good measure. And they shield, and then now we can just finish it off with the Machamp. And yeah, don't even need to shield the Body Slam. I probably could have. I think I was just going for a flex. I'm not sure. But again, proper energy management, proper gameplay, catches, knowing your opponent's counts, everything like that goes a long way. This is one of my earlier Heracross matchups, so I think I play it out quite differently now. I should have won built up to a Sludge Bomb. I did not for some reason. We still grab a shield though, so that's nice. I was one counter away, and then now I go for another Mud Bomb. They no shield this one. I think I decided to do it just so that I don't have to shield, because they're down a shield. Now I just preserve shields, get energy on my Machamp, and that's always going to be a good time because I close combat and dip. So that's exactly what we do. Close combat does a lot of damage. This goes unshielded. We're about to see it. They do shield it, so they do know what's up. But I'm going to shield as well too at this point. This Poliwrath has a lot of play, and they actually have a Hariyama in the back. Definitely a very spicy pick, but again, not the best in this meta, in my opinion. We do land a Dynamic Punch. It does a lot of damage, and even though they throw their energy, I still have to Machamp the back to finish it off. Yeah, so sometimes if you bring things too far outside the meta, it is a little bit hard to use, like a Shadow Hariyama. Alright, this is the play I make against Poliwraths. I try to swap and catch a Scald or Ice Punch. This opponent, I think, actually waited a second, so I end up catching a Dynamic Punch, which is maybe not ideal. But I knew they were throwing an Ice Punch at that point, so I definitely wasn't going to shield. That way I still get off my Dynamic Punch, and I still knock it out. So that's pretty good for me, because if you think about it, my Toxicroak has energy here, and we're still on even shields. So I'm in a huge position. Even if I lose Charge from Priority here, it doesn't matter. We have a huge energy lead. You don't need the Charge from Priority. I personally would opt for the bulk instead and having a little more stat product. Or a lot more, because a lot of you are running very attack-weighted Toxicroak in this meta. So I'm going to shield here. I'm going to overfarm a little bit in case they try to catch a move here, and they don't. So that's nice. I'm going to throw the Mud Bomb to take care of this. And then now they have a Machamp of their own, and then we get to the Cross Chop. I think they just didn't throw. I don't know. They're trying to overfarm, but we finish them off there. I should lose CMP in that one situation too, but I guess we didn't. All right, opponent actually swaps to the Heracross here, and let's see how we play this out. So I guess I no shield at close combats. This shouldn't take out the Heracross. If they shield, then they choose to shield. But now we come in with a lot of energy. And here's the thing. What's the Machamp going to do? Come into this, right? So they don't really want that. I'm going to throw a close combat here and see if they shield or don't. They do shield. So that was a slight misplay. I was trying to swap into Poliwrath, but I misclicked, so I gave him a little extra energy. And I believe this is going to be a loss. I do remember this matchup very clearly. Giving them that extra energy was very unfortunate. And yeah, I probably should have thrown a Dynamic Punch there too. I'm not really sure what happened there. So, quite a few misplays from me. But that's very important because now you know when you make the misplays, you'll get punished for it, right? And so in that situation, I made the misplays and I carved myself the loss there. My opponent played well too, right? So it's, again, every loss you have in this cup can be fully explained if you look at it carefully, which is really good. It is not just because you have a bad lead. That's not an excuse in this cup. There's always a good reason. But anyway, I undercharged this because we charged from priority. This is not looking great for me, to be honest. I'm honestly not playing this matchup very well, so we're curious to see how it plays out. But they do have a Sneasel in the back, and or Hisuian Sneasel, and that's fine. I tank the move, and then now I believe I should be able to win this matchup because I can tank the Body Slam pretty well, and they cannot really tank the Cross Chop very well. So, oh wait, that's actually not good. All right, so we don't get the move off, but is the Mud Bomb enough? It is. So the Toxicroak does finish it off. All right, even I wasn't sure about that one. All right, Toxicroak mirror matchup. Again, we actually win charge from priority. Here's the thing: if you have a rank 1 Pokemon, it doesn't mean that you necessarily always do charge from priority. If they're like missing half a power up, then that can happen. I don't really know what the spread is because they also have a 1500 one. Maybe they also have the rank 1, but either way, that's fine. So we farmed out quite a bit of extra energy here. They go for the Scalds. If they have Dynamic Punch, they probably should have gone for that, but that's fine. We have an energy lead here on the Toxicroak, and we win charge from priority for one. So I typically do not shield because I always lose charge from priority. If I'm going to win charge from priority, yeah, it's actually not bad worth shielding, right? So they actually come in with a Throh. I was expecting maybe Toxicroak. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but that's fine. I'm going to come in with a Poliwrath here and grab their final shield. That's huge for me. I, again, can tank a Body Slam, so that's not a big deal. I am going to shield this right now because I don't want to get countered down. If you look at the health on my Toxicroak, is very low, and I can't really tank a Zen Headbutt at that point. Trying to get to a move here, and we do get to another Dynamic Punch. Shadow Poliwrath coming in clutch. Hard-hitting Dynamic Punch is going to be able to wrap it up. Hey, Shaggy, stop. Sorry, my cat is scratching my bed, and I don't want her to do that. All right, so another Toxicroak lead. Did we win CMP again? Wow. Back-to-back winning CMP with a rank 1 Toxicroak. Kind of unusual. If you look at that the CP on that Toxicroak, it's kind of low. So it might just be missing half power up. And a lot of Toxicroak users try to catch the second one if you lose CMP. And it's always very predictable, so I never throw on the second one if you lose CMP. If you win CMP. I always throw after the fact. I always overfarm in case they try to catch it, and that's exactly what they try to do. And look at what a huge advantage we have at this point, right? We're in such a commanding position here. They go for the Mud Bomb, no big deal. I probably should have shielded there, to be honest, but it worked out. All right. Yeah, actually, yeah, that was probably a good shielding decision on my end. All right, we don't win CMP again here, but that's fine. As expected, we let it go. Right, we've seen this scenario multiple times. But the back-end matchups where it gets very interesting, right? These back-end matchups can play out so differently here. This opponent could potentially throw a Mud Bomb, but again, I'm going to respect it. Actually, no. Wow. That's actually kind of a wild call. I actually don't know why. Maybe they were one counter off. I wasn't really counting on the replay here, but that might be what was happening. Yeah. Because typically I would shield that. That's a very risky no shield on my end. Like the whole match could flip if I just no shield the Sludge Bomb there. Yeah, they might have just thrown like when they're one counter away. Again, this is a cup that learning mechanics, learning your counts for a very small meta is very important. I should have gone for close combat here because I don't get to another move. But we still get the shield here. And we end up losing that one anyway. So, not great. After making a really great call there, I think my Poliwrath was just way too low on health. And so is my Toxicroak, so I just have too many places to go. So, unfortunately, even though I made some great calls there, sometimes just using your shield is a little better. But it's okay. that'll happen. We are going to shield a Scald, which is not great. I'm going to go for a counter down here, and ends up being another Scald, so that's fine. We tank it pretty well, and now we come out with a lot of energy. And again, and then punch does more damage if you can land it. We'll try to go for another one, and it's going to be quite nice. A lot of damage. It's still worth it, because I probably would just only got 2 Ice Punches off anyway, so might as well go for the hard-hitting move. We do go for the counter down, and shields down. Machamp is a freight train. You cannot stop this. A Shadow Close Combat going to do a lot of damage. Alright, throw lead. Tough, but no biggie. Alright, there's always win conditions here. So I'm going to charge up quite a bit extra energy. Again, I'm going to tank the Bison. Typically, it's not really worth shielding. I'm going to throw a hard-hitting Dynamic Punch. They no shield, and now they come in with... What's this? Oh, yeah. Hisuian Sneasel. So it's very nice for me. I could overfarm this by a little bit here because I still have a shield advantage. I technically could tank an Aerial Ace, but I'd rather just have the energy instead. And I probably could farm a little bit more. I wasn't really sure of the energy counts at the moment. They probably come in Throw here. So I'm anticipating that and swapping out. Getting energy on my Machamp is huge. We counter down. And we go straight for the close combat. No need to bait here because I have a Mud Bomb ready. And as you can see, close combat does a ton of damage. Able to finish it off. They kind of have to save the shield for my Toxicroak, but yeah, puts them in a tough spot for sure. All right, Hitmonchan, gotta have to respect it. I am going to charge up a little bit more extra energy, and then now I come in with my Machamp here. We are going to again tank the Body Slam, overfarm a little bit. So I choose to overfarm just so that they get less farm to farm my Machamp on. I might still get their Cross Chop, which I do, which is perfect. So I give them a little less farm, but not too much, enough for me to get to my Cross Chop. I go for the Snipe Down. They shield, and that is GG's, because if they spend that shield and we have a Toxicroak Mirror, it's not gonna be a good time. I actually just come in with the Poliwrath here. Okay, but that's fine too. Maybe I was scared I was gonna make it. They actually go for Dynamic Punch. That's pretty rare moveset, but did quite a bit of damage. Not enough to KO. I got the Miss Bed Scratcher here in the flesh. But as you can see from the battles, these battles are pretty fast paced. I do have them sped up as well in the video, but they're very fast paced even at 100 speed. All of the misplays I do often backfire, ending up in losses, and the good plays I make typically allow me to win. The battler that plays better will almost in all likelihood win. And isn't that the best kind of meta? At least I believe so. And when I finally got my elo, my starting elo was in the 2400s, which is probably one of the highest starting elos I've seen so far, at least on Twitter, from other top tier battlers. And honestly, it's because I had such a high win rate in Fighting Cup. So to recap, small meta, yes. Is it a bad meta? I say a hard no. I think it's still one of the best metas, surprisingly. Again, I was a doubter right off the bat. I wasn't even sure if I was going to play any Fighting Cup remix, but I decided to give it a shot on my Patreon stream, and it turned out to be pretty good. It's not too late to give it a try, so step outside your comfort zone and feel free to give it a shot if you're daring. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and we'll catch you all next time.